Kwanzaa, what you gon' do? Spending with my family, chill with the crew. We gon' share gifts, you don't have to spend loot. We celebrate culture, our African roots. Umoja is the message.
Kabarigani, San Antonio. Welcome to our second annual Kwanzaa celebration. I am Naomi Something to Say Johnson. I am the founder of the San Antonio Kwanzaa Coalition, and it is in partnership with the San Antonio African American Community Archive and Museum, in partnership, emphasis on partnership, because we're going further together, that we're bringing you Kwanzaa virtually. Where's my mask, are you asking? Well, I'm on a closed set, so my entire team has been masked and we are social distancing. It's because I'm in front of the camera, I don't have a mask on. But San Antonio, wherever you go, please make sure you are adhering to CDC guidelines, wearing your mask and washing your hands, because we want you to stay safe, which is why we're bringing Kwanzaa to you at home. So Kwanzaa is a holiday that was created by Dr. Malana Karenga in 1966. It is a cultural celebration for African Americans to observe our heritage, share our legacy, and build our communities stronger, better, and more united. So it's with great joy and celebration that we're bringing Kwanzaa to you virtually. We'll be having several conversations over the next 7 nights with various leaders from our community at large in San Antonio. Yes, we know we can't keep it just in San Antonio's little secret. So wherever you are, happy Kwanzaa, joyous Kwanzaa, and a prosperous Kwanzaa to you. Asante Sana.
Habari Gani, what's the news? Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is an African-American Pan-African cultural holiday celebrating family, community, and culture. It's a 7-day celebration beginning on December the 26th to January the 1st. Each day, we reflect on one of the principles of Kwanzaa, and there are 7 principles called the Nguzo Saba, or the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Those principles are Umoja, unity; Kujijagalia, self-determination; Ujima, collective work and responsibility; Ujama, cooperative economics; Nia, purpose; Kaumba, creativity; and Imani, faith. These are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Now, let me share with you the 7 symbols of Kwanzaa. First, you have the mat called the Mkeka. Mkeka represents our African foundation. Then you have the Kanara, or the candle holder. The candle holder is symbolic of our African parenthood. In the candle holder, you have the Mashuma Saba, or the 7 candles. These 7 candles reflect the 7 principles. And the black candle is Umoja, unity. Then Kujijagalia, self-determination; Ujima, collective work and responsibility; Ujama, cooperative economics; Nia, purpose; Kaumba, creativity; and Imani, faith. Again, the Mashuma Saba are the 7 candles. Then you have the Kikumbe Cha Umoja, the unity cup. You have the Mazoo, the fruits and vegetables, and the Muhindi, the corn. And you have the Zawadi, the gift. These are the 7 symbols of Kwanzaa. You have 2 supplemental symbols, and those symbols are the red, black, and green flag and a card with the 7 principles listed. Now, each day of Kwanzaa, we begin by saying, Habari Gani, what's the news? And the response of the day would be the principle of the day. For example, on the first day, we say Habari Gani, and the response is Umoja, unity. At that time, we would light the candle. We would light the black candle, which is symbolic of the principle of Umoja, unity. After lighting the candle, we would ask each family member in the circle, Habari Gani, what's the news? And each family member would speak of that principle. Umoja, what does it mean to you? And how have you practiced this principle this past year? And what will you do in the future to practice the principle of unity in the family community? Now, after everyone gets a chance to talk about the principle, the next thing we would want to do is to go through and pour libations. Libations is an opportunity to remember and honor, first and foremost, the Creator, and to give thanks to the Creator, but also to raise up the name of our ancestors who are best representative of the principle of that day. We pour libations honoring them, and this is a great time for us to ask each family member to reflect on one who is in our history that best carried out the principle on Umoja, unity. And each time, it'll be great to pour and say, Ashe, giving thanks and acknowledgement to that ancestor. Of course, at that time, we all would drink from the Kikumbe Chai Umoja cup together. So, together we all would say, we drink in unity, we work in unity, we build in unity, and we are in unity. And each day, all of us should drink together in unity. After we have poured libations and we have drunk in unity, this is a great time for us to do our Harambes, meaning let us pull together. On the Harambe, we raise our hands up to the heaven above and we bring it down to our heart 7 times for the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. For example, do it with me. Harambe, 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 Harambe. Let us pull together. Now, of course, remember, as we blow out the candles and we go forward with our day, remember the 7 principles and let us be the light of the 7 principles. Let us practice these principles throughout the day. So we have now to blow out the candles and we go forth representing the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Pretty much, this is the ceremony every day that we should enjoy with our family and our community. This is an opportunity for us to take time to celebrate ourselves, reflect on these principles, and plan for a greater future. Habari Gani, what's the news? Today, December the 26th, the news is Umoja, unity. Today we light the black candle for Umoja, unity. Umoja unity means to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race.
Habari Gani.
Umoja!
Girl, so I know it's Kwanzaa and everything, but this is my first one. Why do people keep saying that term, Habari Gani?
Yeah, so it's basically a greeting used in Kwanzaa to just kind of check in and say hello. And when it's stated, the responder yells that out as well as the principal, and the principal's yelled back for whatever we're celebrating that evening.
I think I got it. Okay, so I'm gonna try it with one of our guests. Hey, Habari Gani.
Umoja.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about what Umoja means. So Umoja basically means unity. It's like to strive for togetherness, a connectedness for the community, nation, and race.
Awesome. So let's help celebrate and welcome one of our first guests,
Casia.
Casia. Nice. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
So you are the founder of a very popular Facebook group called
Black Girl Magic of San Antonio.
Freaking love that group. They do events. It's beautiful. It's like a bunch of black women coming together and just supporting each other. And I mean, everything you've accomplished so far with the group is amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, girl. So you want to lead with the first question?
Yeah, absolutely. So our first question we wanted to ask you was essentially when thinking of the Facebook group, right, that you created, what led you to want to create a group that was going to essentially bring unity to black women here in San Antonio?
Girl, especially San Antonio. It's hard to find black folks. I'm just going to say that now.
So honestly, I've only been in San Antonio for 2 years. I'm new to Texas. Yeah, completely new to Texas. Yeah. So when I came down here, it was me and my kids. I had no family. I didn't know anyone. Like, I really went out on a leap of faith.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I started the group first because I wanted to, of course, just connect with other black women. That was my main thing. I wanted to connect with other black women. And then also just the whole point of creating a safe space for black women is very important to me because thankfully that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
That's the foundation of what my grandmother and my mother had set for me. Black women deserve to be in a safe space, which unfortunately the world does not grant us that.
Yes.
So when I came down here, and of course my first initial thing was like, I just want friends. I just want to meet people. Yeah, I just want to meet people.
Your circle.
And then it went from that to just seeing that, this was my time to really try to go out there and create a need that I saw that was very much needed in the community out here. I feel like a lot of women don't realize that black women, we need that. We need to unite. The world is already against us. We have so much already against us. So I just wanted to create a platform to give black women that. And that's how
beautiful.
The group came out.
Yes, and so when did you start Black Girl Magic of San Antonio?
I started Black Girl Magic about 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
And how many members are?
Yeah.
It's like a lot, right?
So we're almost at 7,000 members.
Girl, girl magic right there, congratulations on that.
Thank
So
you.
that's an ode to 100% the need there, and you filling that plug. That's super cool. Yes, Casia. Oh man.
Well, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think if you can go into a little bit more detail about why it's so important for black people, especially black women, to come together, especially in a place like this where it's kind of already hard for us to find each other.
Yeah.
And especially for 2020, the kind of year that we've obviously been having. Why is it so important for us to have, places like the space that you created where we can all come together and basically support one another?
Right, and thank you for asking that. The reason why it is important for us to have that, first and foremost, it's because we have to realize the generation that comes behind us. I was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. I came from a different type of era. And where I'm from, black unity was everything at one point. Our grandparents, our parents, they fought for so much for us. And I feel like it is now our obligation as we're coming into being the adults in our community, as we're coming to be, I'm not too old yet, but eventually going to be the elder in the community.
We'll be ancestors.
Right. We will be there. So we have to think about our children when it comes to creating that. It's important to have that unity first, and it's so much more to that question, but what starts is with the children, because you want to give them that foundation. What we do today is going to affect them tomorrow. Right. So we have to make sure that we lay that down for our children, which is very important. On top of us just uniting as a people, because I feel like that's something that we don't do enough of, especially nowadays. Somehow, some way we came into this competitive mold with each other instead of embracing each other and loving each other and really kind of combining as a culture. And it's affected us a lot.
Mentally.
Mentally, physically, everything. We will not be able to strive as a people until we actually know what it's like to unite, to know that when you see another sister on the street, that's your sister. That's not your competition. That's not your, you love her. You know, don't try to figure out what's wrong with her. Don't feel intimidated because you see something wonderful in her.
Right.
Embrace her. And it's the same thing with young black men. Like, you know, it's very important for us to unite.
I agree.
I just want to say I love your accent, by the way.
She's like, I heard everything you said, but.
But I think that's very important, and I mean, everything you've done so far, just in 2 years, I think that's crazy, amazing, yes, girl.
And as she said earlier, like you see different girls kind of take it in their own initiative to use it for different things. Of course, you guys have it set up right where you have specific days for certain things, but girls really take the initiative to like embrace each other, share things to make you laugh, share things because I have a question anonymously or not. Sharing resources, referrals, jobs, like, I mean, it really is its own little community. It's a safe space, right? And I think obviously we know how important those are, to build up that unity, and like she said, within 2 years to kind of see what it's grown to, so you already kind of know what it's going to become. Man, I guess my question would be like, what's next? What's next for Black Girl Magic? Like, I know it's not going to stop as a Facebook group.
No,
Can't.
it's not.
I mean, it's online. You got 7,000, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, it's made up of just wonderful women just kind of coming together and, yeah, like really just creating a whole new safe world, as you said, right? To be vulnerable with each other, and I don't know, I absolutely love everything it stands for, so I'm super proud of you, girl, for real, for taking that on. Of course, we know there are other San Antonio Facebook groups. Shout out to y'all 100%.
Yes,
the point is,
absolutely.
it's needed.
No,
We have to
absolutely.
create these spaces for each other, for ourselves, to progress forward, so 100%, yeah.
Thank you. Well, to answer your question, what's next for Black Girl Magic? I've been getting asked that question for a really long time now.
Yeah.
And I kind of sat on it because you don't want to rush into something. It's like, okay, so I have these members, so we're going to turn into this. You have to make sure that the intentions are right, the passion is right. You have to make sure, you know, that you're really, because this is like my baby, you know, so you want to make sure that you nurture it right. Honestly speaking, it's a lot in store for Black Girl Magic, and honestly, it's something that I look forward to expanding all throughout the United States. It's gonna go way past, you know, this is what I see, because I see that the safe space was created here, and I'm not the only person in the world to create a safe space, by all means. But it's something that I feel like is my passion, to connect to women, you know. So I feel like this is going to expand way further.
Girl, you said when you just said, I'm not the only one who created a safe space. Girl, you created a safe space in a place where there's not a lot.
One doesn't exist.
Someone could go to Houston and have a whole bunch of Black women safe spaces,
That's
but in
true.
San Antonio,
But in
it's
San
not that
Antonio,
many.
it's
So
very
what
rare.
you did and what you have been doing is important for the Black women here.
Very monumental.
Thank
you.
you.
Gotta know
Thank
that.
you,
Yeah.
ladies.
So
Thank you.
I definitely get the power of the energy behind that statement of, hey, it's going to expand further than San Antonio. You know what I mean? Like, once you create the formula, duplicate it, find a way to turn it into a business, obviously, because that's the legacy. That's where you're leaving things for the kids, right? Where everything we do has to be about building up the generational wealth gap for our community, our people. Like, we have to, you know?
Absolutely.
So I love it.
Me too.
Sorry.
Well, we really appreciate you so much, and I don't know about you, but I'm totally inspired by our guest here.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ladies.
Most definitely. And that's for sure. So make sure, I know, I want to make sure that everyone knows how to, if you aren't already connected with Black Girl Magic, they know how to get there, or even know how to connect with you, of course, via social media.
Well, for Black Girl Magic, and I also want to add that we just recently extended to Austin as well. Can't leave Austin out.
That's right.
We can't leave Austin out.
It is. You're right.
Can't leave Austin
that's
out.
our fault. You're
So
right.
if you do want to become a part of Black Girl Magic of San Antonio / Austin, you would just go on Facebook, and it's exactly how I just said it, Black Girl Magic of San Antonio / Austin. To reach me on social media is Casia Saeed. I know my name is a little weird, but that is Casia, last name Saeed.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. We'll be back in a moment.
Thank you, ladies.
Anansi and his sons. When Anansi's first son was born, and Anansi and his wife Asa were ready to name the child, the baby spoke up and said, "I have brought my own name with me. It is Sea Trouble." Their second son also announced his name in this way. He was Road Builder. Each of his 6 sons in turn announced their names in this way. There was River Drinker, Game Skinner, Stone Thrower, and Cushion. Once, Anansi had to go on a long journey. On his trip, he found a big, bright, shiny ball. He was bringing it home when suddenly he fell into the lake and was swallowed by a big fish. Anansi decided right then that he would give the bright, shiny object to whoever rescued him. As time passed and Anansi did not return home, his family became worried. Sea Trouble looked ahead to see Anansi inside the big fish. He told his brothers. Right away, Road Builder cleared a path through the forest for his brothers to follow. When they got to the lake, it was the thirsty brothers' turn. River Drinker drank up all the water in the lake. There was the big fish at the bottom. Game Skinner went right to work. He cut open that fish to let Anansi out. Anansi was still holding that bright, shiny object that he had found. Suddenly, a giant bird flew down and grabbed Anansi. It took him way up into the sky. Stone Thrower grabbed a rock and threw it. He hit the bird just right to make it let go of Anansi. Down, down, Anansi fell, but he didn't get hurt because Cushion put himself in the way. Anansi landed softly. Anansi wanted to give the bright, shiny object to the son who had rescued him, but he couldn't decide who had done the most to help him. He gave the bright, shiny thing to Naomi, who put it up in the sky until someone can figure out which son deserves it the most. It is still there in the sky. You can see it tonight. Umoja, unity.
Well, we've come to the end of our program, and I would be remiss to not introduce my partner in this venture, Mrs. Deborah Jarman of the San Antonio African American Community Archive and Museum, also known as SACAM. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Naomi. Thank you so much for including SACAM in this endeavor. And man, she was so good.
She was.
You all are in for a treat each night. We're excited to be here.
Yes.
And because you partnered with the museum, you know we have to bring the history.
Absolutely.
So today, for Umoja, we're going to talk about the NAACP. During World War II, the city enforced Jim Crow laws that condoned lynching and demeaning, segregation of black and white citizens. It was from this type of background that a group of people from the black community received the inspiration to do something about the atrocities. Mm-hmm. And you know, they came together with Mr. J.A. Grumbles, a black man. He said, there's got to be something. Mm-hmm. So he read about the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. He was impressed and inspired by the work being done by this group in other states. It was his idea that the NAACP might be the catalyst needed to bring about some justice to the San Antonio black citizens. He called together a group of people whom he felt had leadership ability and concern for the conditions that were allowed to exist. Wow. In 1918, 102 years ago, The San Antonio branch, NAACP, was organized with 503 members.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. They secured real property right on the corners of Hackberry and Center Streets, and that was where the community house was located.
Wow.
It is now the site of the Carver Cultural Center. Major emphasis was placed on the increased employment of Black women. Hey. In the 1930s, the core thrust was the importance of the vote. In the 1940s, the focus was on the problems of racial discrimination and abuse. The driving force in the 1950s was eliminating racial segregation in the public schools. The struggle continued to eliminate employment discrimination in the 1960s, human rights in the 1970s, and racial equality and justice in the 1980s.
We've come so very far, and we have so much further to go.
We do.
Thank
But
you.
I want to say kudos to the NAACP for
Absolutely.
being our model tonight for Umoja. We'll see you all tomorrow night.
See you all tomorrow night.